So I was still coming off another case of burnout, sickness, and a way too dramatic August for my personal life. I decided to take a simpler video topic to get back into the game. I've been enjoying season 2 of Peacemaker so far, so I thought I'd do another video on our boy Christopher. It's been a fun, slow burn so far as we see the new normal for our troubled anti-hero and the rest of the 11th Street kids, as they both adjust to the changes from the DCEU to the DCU, and the fallout of their choices in season 1 that weren't retconned. It's been a compelling story of troubled people trying to change their lives, or in Harcourt's case, get back to what they think they're good at, but hit with roadblocks left and right. Despite Chris saving the planet from an invasion of body-snatching aliens last season, his attempts to continue being a legitimate superhero keep falling on his face, due to his very bloody past not allowing him the clean slate he thought he'd have. So when Chris finds a door in his late father's pocket dimension, which I should mention he didn't even make it turns out, he just stole it from a dead alien, surprise surprise, and finds an alternate Earth that has everything he ever wanted, it's not hard to see why he considers jumping ship and starting over, particularly when happenstance causes him to accidentally kill his even bloodthirstier counterpart in self-defense. That's gonna be a doozy to tell his therapist. But with episode 3, we've gotten a much clearer look at Earth 2, and there's definitely something off. Something suspicious. Something we may not see coming? Or who knows, maybe this is just the 0% melanin dimension by default and James is just trolling all of us. Hey team, Phantom Skull, the super security VTuber here, and some kind of other shoe's gonna drop by the second half of this season, and we're gonna talk about some of the more popular theories today. And it's not just the Nazi dimension theory, trust me. So we're gonna start with the theory that's the most probable, and one that I think some members of the Peacemaker subreddits are sick of seeing on their feed non-stop. Are there still a chance James Gunn is gonna throw a curveball due to its expectations? It's James Gunn. He loves taking the piss out of authoritarian and supremacist jack-offs. So yes, let's talk about the Nazi dimension theory.
Is this one a dirty Nazi, General?
Well, they've been very good at burying the lead so far, and superheroes are not unfamiliar with other dimensions or timelines where the Nazis won type stories. There's a lot to look at. Beyond the obvious changes to Earth 2, such as Auggie Smith being a superhero and not a supervillain, and seemingly a good parent to Chris and a still-alive Keith, alongside Chris being a far more respected kind of superhero, they've been very particular about what you see and don't see compared to scenes in the main DCU dimension. Such as the fact Earth 2 Evergreen and Argus is a lot whiter than the DCU's versions, or how every American flag is conveniently set to not show the full other half of it, and especially Earth 2 Harcourt looking and acting like she came out of the most fucked of AI-generated shitty trad wife memes. Now admittedly, the main reason so many zero in on this theory is mainly due to DCU Augie's ties to white supremacy, along with the rather stark differences between DCU Argus, which is crazily diverse with its cast of characters, and the brief scene of Earth 2 Argus that's missing almost all of these same people and much paler. This definitely isn't a coincidence. The most popular theory with Earth 2 Auggie is he is still a white supremacist, but the key difference here is his twisted beliefs are possibly the norm, hence him being treated as a hero instead of a villain, alongside being a much better parent to Earth 2 Chris and Keith. The logic of this theory is because Earth 2 is potentially a place where Augie's beliefs are treated as the norm. He is a much happier person, and therefore is a kinder father to Chris and Keith in Earth 2. However, with episode 4 revealing that Auggie was not the tech genius we thought he was, instead just being a dumb racist who got lucky and stole a dead alien's equipment, it leaves a lot of questions about what exactly is going on with Earth 2 Auggie, whether he is a legitimate inventor in this universe, or fell into the same boat of getting lucky. Perhaps having a lot more ambition and luck of turning his white supremacy goals into a reality with this new technology, and possibly having a lot more success than DCU Auggie, who just became a bitter, burnt-out ex-supervillain no one really knew or respected. And then we have Earth 2 Keith. On the surface, Earth 2 Keith seems to be everything Chris could have imagined. A beloved brother who he has a legitimate relationship with, one that was taken from him due to his father forcing them to fight and causing him to accidentally kill him. At the same time, we can also examine what little we know of Earth 2 Chris and Keith to see why the white supremacy theory kinda holds true. In our brief time of seeing Earth 2 Chris alive, we see someone not dissimilar to our Chris before his character development, but much more unstable, ready to murder DCU Chris for trespassing without giving him a chance to explain himself, and going for extreme lethality without having a single bit of hesitation. DCU Chris learns more about his late counterpart from Earth 2 Harcourt, where we find out he's a straight-up unfaithful asshole glory hound who cheated on her with multiple people and also had a pill-popping problem. When we finally see Keith in action as Captain Triumph, after a couple of episodes painting him as a generally all-around nice guy who loves his brother, he mercilessly flies through a terrorist group's helicopter when they were fleeing and no threat to anyone, and let the flaming wreckage fall down below, almost hitting several cops and civilians, not even giving crowd control a second thought. But even stranger, nobody calls out either hero for their violent way of handling things. They both get celebratory cheers. This is a place where Peacemaker's violent anti-hero tendencies are treated as the norm over a red flag. There's also other little factors, such as this mural that has 14 stars with the top trio, which could be a reference to the wretched 14 words. An infamous neo-Nazi dog whistle that was referenced in Season 1, on the plate of one of the White Dragon's goons who gets his car stolen. Most notably is analyzing Harcourt's Earth 2 counterpart, who lacks all of her hard-as-nails tomboy super agent characterization. Despite still being a member of Argus, she comes off as a lot more demure, docile, and feminine to an extreme as far as talking about Harcourt's, and shockingly forgiving over Chris constantly cheating on her and treating it more like a whoopsie than a betrayal, almost looking for any crumb of an excuse to get back with him without much effort on our Chris's part to apologize. And while we don't know her exact role in Earth 2 Argus, it definitely seems like she's more like a support office lady than the hard-as-nails super agent we've come to know and love. When the Sons of Liberty attack the DMV in episode 3, Harcourt shows no initiative to help back up Chris like our Harcourt would. She just stands passively at the sidelines looking pensive and worried, almost like a damsel waiting for the man to do all the work. But a question remains, if the twist is truly this place is an authoritarian dimension, what kind of flavor of authoritarian are we talking? Nazi seems like the easy choice, but then again, this is the easy choice. Gunn is as much of an old school comics nerd as the rest of us, so he knows Nazi dimension stuff and superheroes is old hat. Hell, the Arrowverse had a whole arc about it. But I don't think we're dealing with Dimension X here. Nazi takeover dimensions are rarely this subtle, but there's a few other options that would still line up with the white supremacist dimension theory. Another popular variant of this theory is that this is a dimension where the South won the Civil War, and were the ones to implement a national vibe shift instead of the North. So the South's pro-slavery and disturbing racial superiority beliefs would become the norm for many centuries. If they go this route, I wouldn't be surprised to find out the Confederate America didn't just stay out of World War II, but joined the Axis. Some might scoff at me comparing Deep South Confederate Klan simps for full-on Nazi cultists, but anyone paying attention will know the Venn diagram between these two wretched groups is almost a perfect, unwashed circle. If this is true, I'm guessing DCU Chris will unfurl the flag and reveal the stars and bars taking up where our good old blue and stars should be. This would track since this is the flavor of supremacy bullshit DCU Auggie subscribed to. and would explain the minimal architectural differences and not immediately noticeable differences between DCU Evergreen and Earth 2 Evergreen, and would explain the twist of whatever fucked up thing happened to any Americans with a single percentage of melanin being that well hidden and not that forced. Because anyone who's had the fun experience of Southern culture, particularly small town Southern culture, knows there's a reason the Kentucky Fried Karens want to gut little Timmy's history book. But while this is the most likely scenario, and have my fingers crossed Sean Gunn might be showing up as my favorite Nazi-killing robot if so later this season, there are other possibilities. So let's talk about the Truman Show theory. Another thing many noticed in episode 3 was how simple things seemed. As in, a lot of stuff felt dumbed down, like the over-the-top design of the peace cycle, the very one-dimensional terrorists randomly attacking a DMV with a bomb made up of some kind of made-up material.
Could be enough sulfanylurea explosives in them to blow up the whole block.
Sulfanylurea? Is that a real word?
A bomb that looks like it was designed for preschoolers to defuse? Alongside just how incompetent all of the police and Argus seem in this universe, with such an equally incompetent terrorist group, this all feels like a bad Saturday morning cartoon, but in real life. Almost like a toy commercial for a hyper-violent superhero show. This would also line up with how this dimension's Peacemaker is someone who is loved by all and can do almost no wrong. Even Earth 2 Harcourt seems passive and half-hearted with her issues with Earth 2 Chris's cheating, and willing to take an ounce of an apology from him to get back with him. And in shows like this, the hero always wins and gets the girl in the end, right? The police seem almost useless in this situation. Meanwhile, Chris effortlessly takes down the entire group without any of his Peacemaker gear. And again, nobody seems to bat an eye at him or Keith's destructive and hyper-violent way of handling the situation. Almost like a show about a hero who can do no wrong. I mean, the Sons of Liberty off of just episode 3 look like the average one-dimensional domestic terrorist bad guys you'd see in a cop show or other superhero series, who are designed to be very generic bad guys for the heroes to take out in droves, without ever really getting into the ideological reasons for why they're doing it. I mean, I think we can all agree the DMV is pure evil and has it coming, but to put this much heavily armed resources, guys in tac vests and assault weapons, a flipping sci-fi bomb and a helicopter escape route, for the guy who makes you wait 6 hours to get a new car tag no, this is actually tracking. Jokes aside, I can see why this theory has some legs for the ones who want another answer than white supremacy dimension. So we'll have to wait and see if this is the buy our toys action cartoon dimension or something. If I was to humor this theory, I'd suspect the other shoe dropping for this one is that Chris realizes, as seemingly perfect as this life is, it's not his life. That's not the Harcourt he fell in love with. And as much as he wants a loving Auggie and Keith, they aren't his. And they'll probably go psycho when they figure out he's not their Chris and in fact killed theirs. But we'll see. Another final theory that has less legs, but still fun to talk about, is that this is some kind of wish-fulfilling entity whose dimension draws in someone with a perfect setting for them to be the best version of themselves, who always gets what they want. Funny enough, ads brought up this theory potentially in episode 4, so I kinda think this isn't it. But we're still gonna talk about it. This one kinda makes sense. Like the Truman Show theory, this is very much a dimension that the old Peacemaker would have loved. On paper. He's a respected superhero, his dad loves him, his brother's alive and a fellow hero, Harcourt is in love with him, etc. This Earth seems like one designed to make Chris happy. To what end, I can't say. Now, this option has a lot of holes, not including the fact it already had a Peacemaker in it that immediately tried to kill our Peacemaker. The all-whiteness of Earth 2 is a bit of a giveaway since we established last season Chris isn't a racist like his dad. So a perfect Earth from his point of view would be a lot more diverse than what we see of Earth 2. Alongside that, the major hole in this theory is that if this is a perfect Earth crafted to make Chris happy, why doesn't it have a variant of Adebayo, Economos, and especially Eagly? Oh, did I forget somebody? Must have been the wind. Hashtag justice for Adrian, why are you such a bad BFF, Chris? Before his character development, Eagly was the only living thing in Chris's life he had a legitimate, healthy relationship with. Emphasis on healthy, Vig stands, calm down. Him being nowhere to be found in this new Earth is an immediate tell. While this is a fun theory, it has way too many holes to really stay afloat compared to the other two. But never say never, this could be a dark horse and Adebayo might be right on the money. With episode 6 coming out this week, we might finally see the other shoe drop, so place your bets now. It's been fun to theorycraft the twist, and regardless of what it is, though it's probably the white supremacy one, Peacemaker Season 2 so far has stood on its own for its solid character writing and over the top, but not too far, dark humor. While I worry if the mystery box reveal of whatever is wrong with Earth 2 doesn't knock the fans' socks off due to the slow pace of episodes 1 through 5, I'm still along for the ride to see where our boy Chris goes next on his journey of self-discovery, though I'm really dreading his mental concerning Earth 2 Keith's possible fates if the evil authoritarian reveal does happen. Just let this bi-disaster be happy, Gun, good lord. Thanks for watching. Hey team, glad to be back on the grind. Sorry for the hiatus again. While I'm slowing my output of videos due to real-life responsibilities, getting a sinus infection did not help with my comeback, and delaying this video way longer than I hoped. So thanks for putting up with my raspy voice for this one. How are you liking Season 2 of Peacemaker? Let me know down below and show some love with a like and subscribe for more Geek Media video essays. Be sure to check me out on the purple side as I'm starting a stream series of Silent Hill F, so come join me for some spooky games and other fun. Appreciate everyone's support as I adjust to my new content output, and I hope to see you all next time.